क्या?
Oh, wait a minute. No. No, 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 no.
Net
Now it
connectivity
is
is
good.
okay.
Now it is good.
Now
We
it
are
is good, na?
starting.
So
We are
probably
starting,
it's just
okay?
fluctuating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now
Okay.
we are starting.
Okay.
Please,
Hello?
hello everyone. A warm welcome to today's webinar on elevating learning and development with AI. I'm Prashanti Sudhakar and I'm delighted to be your host for this exciting session. In this session, we'll explore how AI driven tools and strategies can enhance training programs, improve knowledge retention, and drive continuous growth in organizations. Expect real world case studies, practical applications, and actionable insights that you can implement right away. Let's dive into the future of learning where AI meets human potential. At Education Nest, we are committed to empowering professionals with cutting edge training and resources to help them stay ahead in today's fast evolving landscape. Let's dive in and make this an engaging and insightful session. Let me now start by setting the stage for the webinar by introducing our topic, Elevating Learning and Development with AI. Artificial intelligence (AI) has significantly transformed learning and development (L&D) by improving the efficiency, personalization, accessibility, and effectiveness of training programs. The traditional L&D models are being enhanced by AI-driven solutions that provide a more dynamic, tailored, and data-driven learning experiences for employees. We will talk about trending ways in which AI is enhancing L&D. We have an amazing speaker for today's webinar, Sandeep Kaur. She is a human resource professional with expertise into learning and development, talent management, and OD enthusiasts. Holds 15 years of corporate experience spread across industry. She has contributed to her role as a lead working at employers like co-founder of Servo Staffing Solutions Private Limited, Bharti AXA, ITM Group of Institutions, Vodafone India Limited, TCS, Wellspun India Limited, Trident India. She graduated and mastered in commerce and also mastered in business studies from ICFAI and specializes in advanced human resource from Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. She had achieved her certification, master trainer, and learning development specialist from Carleton Advanced Management Institute, CAMI, US. As for her interest in study, she is a certified life member of the Indian Council of Astrological Sciences and have been practicing astrology for the past 5 years. During the session, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We'll wrap up with a question and answer session at the end. So don't hesitate. Let's keep this interactive. Sandeep Kaur, ma'am, thank you so much for joining us today. The stage is all yours.
My pleasure, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity for inviting me as a speaker, and also for this. I mean, this whole introduction was a true vibe. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So we'll move ahead. I'll share my screen so that without
Sure,
wasting time, we can come on to the topic today.
sure.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible. I think you can start the slideshow option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As well introduced, the topic today is elevating learning and development for employees with AI. So before we move on to the topic for the day, I want to take you through what all we're gonna cover today's session. So we'll talk about something about AI, a generic definition, and its application, and what is the future. Of course, AI is the future, but still we'll dive down to what better we can learn from it. How AI can help in learning and development, traditional L&D versus AI transformed L&D, and some tips for your betterment as a learning professional. Yeah. Is it? Is it? Yeah. Thank you so much. Really, absolutely fine. So visibility, I mean, the topic for the day is the same, visibility. So that has to be in that context. So we will start from what is AI. I mean, before getting into these definitions and how AI works, application of AI in future. Today morning, I was just browsing my LinkedIn and I saw a very wonderful and insightful post by some lady. Miss Neha Rani, and the caption was "Rest in peace presentation. Why spend hours on slides when AI can make your presentation in just 60 seconds?" And that was the capture for the day for me. I just went through all the links she provided. I mean, there was one link called Dectopus, and one was Pop AI, the other was Slide Speak, Beautiful AI. And it was very kind of coincidence. Today I was supposed to be a part of this session, and I went through these posts and these links. I couldn't browse all the links, but one I thought just to give a try was this Dectopus link. And amazing. I mean, seriously, you just have to click on the link, enter the topic, and with variety of themes you will get the presentation. And of course, the slideshows were so well structured, the content was so picked up well from different sources that I was wondering. I mean, in my corporate career, rather, I've seen so many of my colleagues and everybody around wasting, rather, the waste is not the appropriate word, but somehow we've been putting so much efforts to bring onto the table these contents, these presentations for dashboards, for the learning programs, and so on. And in just 5 to 6 seconds, that presentation was there. But yes, of course, it was a paid tool, but certainly the amount of time we spend in corporates making presentations, I mean, time is money. If in just 1,500 rupees subscription, you're getting something out of this, wonderful. So that's the power of AI, which I wanted to share with this small example. So probably you can also go through that post, or maybe you can browse, you'll get a good experience rather. Coming on to the definition, it's a very basic definition, but I'll read it for you. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science focused on creating machines or software capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. So, in a crux, what AI is doing is saving our time, our energy, and of course, the most important thing is the kind of data interpretation AI is bringing onto the table. It is fantastic. It is phenomenal. I mean, I think we can do it. Of course, human intelligence has no bar. I mean, AI is also one of the human creation, but certainly introducing AI is not just bringing human intelligence in a way where in a click you can get a mass data being cleaned, been interpreted, you make a lot of information out of it. So many things you can do out of it, which could incur a lot of time in bringing on those things in a picture. Moving ahead, types of AI, narrow, general, super. I think these are like generic types, which I had just quoted in my slide so that it can, be a kick for the users to explore what AI is, what types of AI is, and where all these applications are there. I'll talk more on the application of AI. Why? Because this is a need of time to understand. We see around so many things, we call it digital era, right? So when we go to hospitals, healthcare, let's talk about these AI tools being used in hospitals where these radiology. I mean, there's so many. Yes, of course, one thing coming in my mind, Google Health has designed one AI tool which can detect the breast cancer. And other than that, these days the kind of tools being used to read the algorithm of X-rays of your MRI, your other CT scan reports and other things, it is fantastic. It is bringing the diagnosis so fast and so accurate. Wherein in the previous time, I think I remember from my lifetime, and you all can recall, tuberculosis was a very critical disease, and people used to move around with their X-rays in hand, and doctors in a time were failing to even diagnose what stage the tuberculosis is. So that was the condition from where we have evolved, the revolutionary phase we have crossed, and now in a seconds, I mean, even a cancer can be detected at phase one, or rather phase two, stage two. Moving ahead, let's talk about finance, another important sector in India and rather globally. And I think with the time the credit cards were introduced, and because I myself been from a finance background, I started my career from finance. I remember initial times when credit cards were introduced, debit cards were introduced. There was a lot of fraud happening around. So see how AI has helped. We have now fraud detectors like PayPal and these Mastercards. How they are helping us. We are using it efficiently, and also we can prevent ourselves from these frauds. Other than that, finance is one sector which is very smartly using AI, all the calculations, the big data analysis, the dashboards. You talk about the stock market. These are so many applications like Grow and Earn, and in fact, all the digital. There's mobile banking and all. This is all AI. And how easily, I don't think so. Now people need to go to bank to do their cash transfers or rather any kind of banking services to get the address change or etc. Any kind of these client services. So this is how AI has made even users daily routine banking transactions, the banking services so easy and at doorstep, rather at one click. Moving ahead on manufacturing and automation is so my last 5 years career has been into manufacturing, and I had seen an amazing things at Wellspun India and Trident. Both are into textile manufacturing, and see, in manufacturing, what comes in our mind is that some product would have been manufactured, the packaging, the quality checks, and all those generic traditional things come in our mind. But I have seen how AI has robotically transformed the lives of laborers. It has really transformed the laborers, enhanced their skills to become a complete engineer by, making these machines work. So in manufacturing, it has worked in a way, this packaging, this design, the product designing. And if we talk about the warehouses have so many AI machines nowadays where even people don't need to put the receipts. Even the receipts are noted in a system and it is displayed on the dashboard. That is the kind of enhancement manufacturing has adopted with the help of with the application of AI. Retail and e-commerce, everybody around us are kind of, what we say, kind of habitual of doing e-shopping these days. I don't think so. None of us would have ever thought that we could purchase so many things, households, groceries, clothes, everything on e-commerce is available with just one click. Nowadays, even the recommendations are given. At times, I miss my size, or that has also been recommended. How well it is taken. This is all AI tools being used um, in these applications, and that's how they read the customer's data, and they're giving the best recommendation, which makes the process so easier and so user friendly that we prefer to shop on Amazon rather going to the market to buy anything. Of course, human resources one, and being a HR professional, I had myself gone through this phase of change by AI being introduced in the system, and so on. We have taken up today's topic also, one of an important domain in human resource learning and development. So we look forward how AI can enhance more. Uh, I think the kind of discussion I've already brought it to you. Future of AI is very much clear. It is everything. I mean, you have to enhance yourself, you have to adapt yourself, upgrade yourself in a way that you are very, very efficient on using these tools. You are efficient at leveraging these tools to make your future bright. And the picture, please do have a look on this picture. It is a word thousand words, truly. AI talks, now it is a need of time that you have to get enhanced with this, right? Moving ahead, today's topic, elevating learning and development for employees with AI. And I'll come on to my next slide directly. Why? Because, uh, we have to firstly understand what AI can do in learning and development. So I'll just bring out a picture ki before 10 years back, how we were doing L&D. We were doing generic programs. It was like kind of one fit programs for everybody. Let's talk if we are doing time management, we're doing time management for everybody rather than let's say the major bifurcations were for middle management, the senior officials, and the freshers or the interns. That's how we were bifurcating. It was not something on the individual ground. It was not something a personalized learning path. That's what is the header of this thing. So it was very generic, and those programs were catering the business needs, of course, but it was not customized in a way to cater the needs of each individual. So AI has brought a huge difference by making a path easier, learning path easier, by personalization. Let's take an example. If suppose LinkedIn Learning is very commonly being used these days, though there are other programs like Upgrad is offering, Coursera offers, so many CPO soft skill programs are there. So LinkedIn I'm taking because I think each one of us are there on LinkedIn. What LinkedIn is doing, they're offering programs based on your experience, based on your skills, based, let's say, I am good at presentations, making presentations, but I can be excellent by enhancing my skill at advanced level. Like I'll give you an example. I was good at HR, but now I am good at advanced HR. How? This was my personalized requirement. So that's the way AI is reading the learning trend and proposing the future requirements, which is what we are talking about it. That very important and is too much in trend, which will of course bring a employee satisfaction also in your organization. I already quoted this example of LinkedIn Learning. Please take up the free courses. Even the free courses are very well as per your profile, what profile you're putting up on LinkedIn. It's really apt. Predictive analytics for skill development. Uh, so if I talk about skill development, what we used to do as per the role, we used to map the skills, the competencies, and overall requirement by the organization. That's how the JDs were formed and skill mappings were done. The training needs were abrupt. And it was a very, very lengthy process. Trust me, we have done it for employees like up to 2,000 employees. And it was like we used to take all our sweat and blood. I mean, day and night, we used to sit in, Acha, this is the experience, this is the role, this is the hierarchy. That's how manually we have done it. And suddenly we got LMS, learning management system. We had put up the data, and now what am I getting? My manager, 5 years of experience, is into non-technical background and is serving this department. Already existing skills are XYZ, this. So what do I need? Okay, he's a talent pool candidate. Okay, I have to prepare him for learning for leadership. I have to prepare him for advanced technical program, or he's already handling process. So what process he's already handling? Maybe he can do it process improvement, right? So that's how the whole analysis is given through this LMS. Learning management system is one very, very well versed used AI tool in industry these days, which is offered by different vendors. Like I have used Success Factor, Darwin. I don't promote these because I think these days organizations are internally designing their LMS also, and they are beautifully doing that. But certainly, I know as an L&D professional, it made my work very easy because now my focus was on to work on these analytical tools rather preparing that raw data of everybody and getting it checked by the leadership team because it has to be authentic. Now if I suppose say I need advanced Excel training, how you need it, leadership always questions that. So it was a very, very lengthy process. Now it's just, my training need page has been filled. It will be triggered to my HOD and it will be triggered to the leadership team. It is done. Okay, closed. I got the data. So it's so easy in one click. I have the whole future needs in my hand. All functional, technical. I can't miss to add even the behavioral needs. It is one mandatory thing in any organization. Like what we talk about is KSA, knowledge, skill, and attitude. Behavior is very important. So in my initial career, I used to be like, we used to do all the behavioral programs generic. And at times I used to think this person is having an amazing communication skill. Why is he sitting in this program? Trust me, the question used to come in my mind is okay. I mean, probably he would have gone for some better program, but the bifurcations were not done because that kind of rigorous activity was not so clean in any organization. But with LMS now, I have each employee being mapped for different trainings as per their requirement aligned with the organization's need. And proactive training recommendations, as I already mentioned, let's say my manager is working in an IT department and is handling admin, and now we can propose him for applications. So, it is something as per the role he's preparing or basis the tenure he has served, whatever the criteria we are setting within the organization or as per the strategy of the organization, the proactive recommendations, training recommendations can be drafted. Automated content creation and curation. One amazing thing because content plays an important role when you move from classroom training to webinars. Rather than classroom training, it required more efforts. Why? Because the content has to be in a way, it can't be just theory. You have to blend it with the videos, with activities. It has to be very, very kind of, interactive. And for that, you need to keep your audience busy with something genuine. You can't really put up all the theory, or rather you cannot just use one simple case study ki chalo this will work out. So content has to be very well structured, designed, interactive, very, very user friendly. So it required again very lot of efforts were required to prepare that content. There were trainings given, instructional design trainings given to the L&D professional. But now what is happening, you have so many AI tools. You just put up the topic, you'll get the content, and if you are expert, subject matter expert in that, you can filter it. What is of my use, what is not of my use. If something new is coming, you can easily understand. So that hard work has taken a corner now. Now you being on a smarter approach that yes, now I'll work on my process and delivery, right? So that's how even AI is helping at generating content and content customization. While we talk about customization, of course, There are primary, there are secondary programs, and primary in a sense, if I'm doing a program for freshers, I can't keep a content which is overloaded with a lot of case studies, which is something, requires an attention of 10 years or decade or 20 years exposure in industry. So customization plays an important role, which again required a very huge amount of efforts to segregate the content as per the audience requirement. So now, I mean, the AI tools are doing it automatically, like platforms like Articulate 360 use it, and based on the content, like it's not just Articulate 360, then there are many other. In today's time, I see even Google is giving so many things about, like so many case studies you can take out, PPTs you can take out. There's so many book recommendations. You don't have to dive actually in some library to search that. There's so many digital libraries being offered on web, wherein you can check out as per your topic and you can take up the content. Enhanced employee engagement with chatbots and virtual assistant. So I remember we had one Amber, and daily when I used to log in my system, say, "Hi Sandeep, how was your day today?" And I was like, "Wow, nice." If suppose I said it's a bad day, I didn't had a good chat with my boss, what would you do? So this is a generic on a humorous side, but these chatbots really gather a good data from employees. Let's take an example. You had an event and now you want to gather what is an impact of that event, or rather a training program on your employees. So now you don't have to personally call each and every person, or I remember we used to go running with the feedback form. So please fill this feedback form, or rather after the training, immediately we have to make the employees sit. Please spare your 15 minutes to fill the feedback form. Nothing like that is required now. These chatbots are so user friendly. It will directly click onto the user's laptop, and they enjoy filling it also. And since it is anonymous, so people might share. I don't call it a negative comment, but yes, constructive feedbacks are also being provided with that, and we can work better on the process with its help. So that's how even reaching to employees is very easier with these AI tools now. And of course 24 into 7 availability, like we introduced Percipio in one of the organization, and that was something, people had to download that app on their mobile phone. So everybody was not using the compatible phones, but majority of them were, because Android phones are something, everybody has it now. So now the challenge was, if suppose people are facing trouble, what do we do? I mean, it's just one L&D specialist, or rather the team of five. So five people reaching 2,000 people or catering the uh, queries of all those, very difficult. So they had chatbots, and it was so easier. Directly they can click on help us, and they can put down their queries. If suppose they're not able to type it, they can use the voice reality, and it's sorted. If something is not being sorted, it is directly conveyed to the admin. So well connected. You don't have to hire anybody. You don't have to put up a help desk or something like that. And that's how these online platforms were an amazing tool to reach your employees, to bring them onto these digital platforms to enhance their learning journey. Data driven insights for L&D strategies. Data collection and analysis. Like I'll remind you, I mentioned that we used to do this exercise, making JDs, mapping as per the role, the skills, the competencies and all, and it required a huge data collection, and analysis was the last stage, but that data gathering, and post that data gathering, the cleaning of the data, getting it checked by the stakeholders, this all was something, time taken process. I wouldn't say it was a waste of time, but rather it was so much time. Let's say we have just 12 months, and before mid-year review, we have 6 months, and 2 months are gone in preparing these things. So where do you launch your training calendar? When do you put up your impact studies? How would you actually bring your trainings to a level where you have served the ROI? No, it was very difficult. So since these data-driven insights are already being prepared on LMS, now what I need to do, I don't have to do anything. My 2000 employees are already mapped in the system. What trainings they have done is already there in the learning history. What trainings they need to do is already there in my training need report. How frequent they are attending the different blended programs. By blended, I means the classroom, the webinars, the digital learning, self-learning programs, the kind of on-job trainings or XYZ, any other trainings the organizations had introduced. So everything is there, and by just one click, I have the actual report in my hand, I have the dashboards in my hand, and now it's so easier for me to analyze where am I standing as an L&D specialist, where my organization is moving ahead, where we need to work hard. Is it something that we are aligned with the organization goals? So now I'm working at the level of business requirement. I'm not just doing the routine operational job as an L&D specialist, right? So you are saving your hard work and putting it in your smart bucket, right? ROI measurements are of course very easier when we go for the outsource. It incurs cost, and getting the approval from the management is a big pain because you have to show the probabilities of achievements after doing that training program, or rather if you're doing it to reduce some kind of challenges, work on upon those challenges, then also you have to have some convictional points wherein you can get the approval from management. So ROI management with these data becomes very easier. Why? Because you can show the future trends, or rather in past you can show, okay, this is something XYZ errors coming in this program before this program, and now we have reduced. So it could be the process improvement, it could be the value addition in terms of economic value addition, tangible, intangible, in any way, behavioral changes, right? So ROI can be very well showcased, right? Because all the trainings in the organizations are something, people come, people want to enjoy, and people go. Where's the impact? It becomes very difficult to tap that impact. Even you're using the Kirkpatrick model, you do feedback, you do the level two, you have taken the assessments and all. But what your management needs is a figure, what change, what impact on business you have brought by introducing that program, or what challenges on a human resource level you have brought. Let's say attrition is very high. And why it is very high in any certain department? Because of the leadership quality. A very simple example, which is, we see so many trending posts on LinkedIn. People are mistreated, people are not behaving well with their subordinates. So what is it? It's a behavioral gap, right? So even these kind of ROIs can be measured, yes, now the things are controlled, now we are able to retain our talent, and financially we are able to grow, the errors are less, right? So you can put all your efforts in showcasing that on the dashboard, and of course, it brings a big smile on the L&D department, because when you bring the change, of course, you are rewarded too. Automated administrative task and learning management. Like I already said, making the data in L&D, because L&D is one where each and every minute is very important. To bring onto table this 1 hour of webinar, probably me and my team would have been working since last 1 week on the content, on the script, on the design, everything. So administrative task, we cannot donate so much of time to it, right? So I think that process has been very much, very much been brought on an easier platform. Like, now what happens? You have learning management system. Let's say on 21st February, you have this particular webinar. You have launched it on the calendar. The notification goes to the users. Users will enroll for it. So scheduling has been done, enrollment has been done, the invite will be sent by the calendar, by the system itself. So you don't have to personally call each and every person in your team or in your organization. And you can, of course, it increases the number of users also, attending your workshops, because now the range has increased with these tools, right? The approach towards the employees has, it is more vast than the previous ways were how we were doing it, कि ये एक training program है, now we'll make the calls and all. So after that, once your training is done, let's say you want to do the pre-test, it is also triggered. You have the scores in hand. Once the program has been done, post that, now feedback has also been triggered. uh, Feedback you have already collected, now the assessments are also done. Post that, if you want to do 30 days post check, 60 days post check, so all these things are now done by the system in just one click. Trust me, people, in just one click, if your database is well maintained in your employee central in LMS, so it becomes very easy for L&D specialists. By one click, you can easily do all that operational things which takes a lot of time, and you can invest that time in enhancing your learning programs, working on more customized designs, talking to uh, your uh, your learners about their learning journeys. You can invest in all these qualitative work. Like I already mentioned, scheduling and all that is very easy by using platforms like Moodle, Docebo. So these are kind of LMS only, learning management system only. I'll again suggest you should explore what more LMS can offer. LMS is one fantastic thing. Uh, it is a kind of blessing from AI to us. Virtual and augmented reality learning experiences, we've already spoken about it, but I'll again highlight the important things. So training programs, so when we do, these days simulation gamifications are being used. You must have heard these terms for on-job trainings, rather for technical trainings we're using it. In fact, can give you a very nice example. In these car training institutes, they're using simulation. So you can now sit on a kind of machine where you even learn to park your car, which is a very, very difficult thing for a lot of people, properly parking, right? So, what is it? It is an AI training tool, which is being used in the training institutes for make you learn car driving. And there's so many gamifications being used in organizations also for team building. I'm taking up these examples on behavioral because it is very easier for people to understand. I remember Posh is one program which is being used in a way, because it's a very raw topic, but very compulsory in every organization in terms of compliance. Code of conduct is being used in a way where we use so many simulations, right? So not just for technical, there are so many compliance and behavioral trainings also, which can be, once you have prepared that program, now you can use it, So it is saving cost as well. Otherwise, every time you calling one certified trainer and you making that whole program run into it, inviting the users. I mean, imagine the kind of efforts we used to put. I mean, I feel ki from like 100%, we are now at 10%, and 90% we can put it in how studying these AI tools, how we can leverage these AI tools, what more I can do to bring onto the system, and where we can make it with the need of the organization, match it with the need of the organization, what best I can pick. So these questions I can work upon rather than putting it in a way, I'm doing this kind of what do you call operational job. I think throughout my session till now, I have been comparing the traditional L&D versus AI transformed L&D, and somehow I have been able to highlight those kind of, I won't say kind of too much hard work oriented programs. Yes, that's how the L&D was working before pandemic, rather, I would say, because I think since 2015 I have started using LMS, and I can, and 2008 I stepped into my L&D career. So you can well imagine, I mean, 5, 8 years, I have seen how traditionally L&D was working, and after that, how LMS has made my life easier, right? So, in terms of personalization, in terms of engagement, content delivery, data analytics, training efficiency, flexibility, cost, scalability, these are the important features wherein I think AI should be mandatorily used in L&D, and that will 100% bring a huge difference in your figures. Your learning quality will get improved. And the reason behind it is till you are not able to touch each and every employee, you know, and bring a difference in their learning journey. Your job as a L&D specialist is something, you're not up to the mark then. Just by putting generic programs, you're not serving to the organization as well, because each employee has a skill set and competencies which is a value addition for the organization, and that is very promising. So this needs to be kept in mind that revolution has already started, and now you have to reach to a place where these transformations need to be brought up and leveraged. This is one very important and favorite section, rather tips for professionals to scale up AI in L&D. I'll request people to very clearly keep these things in mind. First and the foremost step is have a clear objective. Why you are choosing this particular tool? Why? And select the right tool. Because if suppose I am bringing something, let's say of 1 crore for my organization, wherein I have just budget is there, but my requirement is not that high, and I'm just spending at the name of this is the most trending tool in the industry, it won't serve you. You have to keep a very clear objective aligned with the business requirement, aligned with the organization goals, and choose the right AI tool and introduce it to the organization, right? And of course, LMS, I've been pushing too high. LMS should be there in organization. In any way, you can buy it outsource, you can create it because it really is a need. First step to, introduce yourself to AI. Integrate AI with existing L&D strategies. We've already spoken enough upon it. Um, Prepare employees for AI integration. Like I gave you one example that we were during pandemic, we completely shifted our trainings to webinars, and we were not allowed, of course, to move around. But manufacturing being 24 into 7 working, somehow we were in the plant locations and we were meeting people, but physical meeting was not there. So how to learning happen? Classroom trainings were not allowed, right? So technical trainings become a very big challenge in manufacturing, or rather I would say in any organization people would have suffered that, where the need is no, it has to be on job training and have to meet the employee face to face to train him upon those skill sets, right? So I think the employee preparation is very important. Employee has to understand that maybe this is not something my forte, but I have to learn it. Why? Because this is how my learning will get enhanced, right? So most of the time, employees often take it for granted. This is not something my forte. This might not help me, but it will of course help him. How? To learn their own skills. So you have to sell that product in the market in your organization. That's how we are people to people, right? Till you don't train your teams to train people, you won't be able to, you have bought the system. Now what if your people are not accepting it, the L&D team is not very well versed with that system, they don't know all the features of LMS or the AI tool you're using. So the second step, once you choose it, to train your people to ensure that it is well accepted within the organization by your employees, and then certainly you can begin on working upon the analytics, tracking the learning reports and playing with the trends, patterns, and whatever the future needs you had gathered. You might get a customized reports also in LMS, and maybe your organization need is very different. You can get it something very specific made on those LMS, wherein it can be an achievement in terms of meeting the special challenges. Ethical use of AI. See, I think authenticity and being ethical is one law in every sector, in every function, everywhere, right? You can never compromise with privacy and security. So always keep that approach that there should not be any biases. The learning opportunity should be for everyone. I don't want to name the organization, but I was very disheartened. We bought a very um, uh, a well-versed system, and programs were introduced, everything was fine, but it was for the specific group, and it was always hitting my mind. Why? Why are we not doing it for all the assistant managers? Why are we not doing it for all the leadership team? So later on, we removed these biases, and probably we introduced through our succession plannings the talent pool, for few specific flagship programs or for the certifications and all. But certainly the learning journey, that learning opportunity should be for everybody, and that the data privacy should be the first priority by an L&D specialist. Maybe I'm failing in my assessment 10 times. That is not required to be displayed, you know. Yes, if I am passing my assessment in first time, that needs to be published in terms of your learning achievement dashboards, right? So I think ethical use of AI is one important priority, as we, can never compromise in terms of authenticity. Stay updated, very important, because technology keeps changing every day. Aajkal, I see the mobile phones, you see, I mean, day by day, even the models have been enhanced. One model has so many other features the next time it's launched. So technology, if you have to move hand in hand with technology, you have to keep yourself updated every day. Read, I mean, enroll your, subscribe the newsletters, check out the websites of the vendors, read these AI updates available on the different business magazines, check out the case studies. Like, I will recommend one case study of IBM, how IBM introduced their Watson solution, and how beautifully they brought the change in the organization. So these case studies might be very boring at times, but certainly what happens is they give you a clear picture. We often read good stories to learn. So just take it like stories, read them, understand them, how it is helping the organization, and if something can be worked out in your organization. It's important to align AI implementation with organization goals, ensure accessibility, and continuously monitor its effectiveness to achieve long term success. I've been repeating these things throughout my session. Ensure that never ignore the organization need. That has to be aligned with business requirement from the day first step, so that you are able to match your ROI with the requirements and bring a better achievement dashboards to the management. Otherwise, the mismatch is there, and you have done a training program and it has brought no impact. There will no all your efforts will go unwaste. So hold the first step very tight. Hold it in a way that you are very clear on the organization goals. I am done with the session, and
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an incredibly insightful session. And huge thank you to Sandeep Kaur for sharing such valuable knowledge with us. And now it's time for the most exciting part of our webinar, question and answer session. And we already received some great questions from our attendees, ma'am. So without any delay, let's get
Okay,
started because
sure, sure.
they are in a flow to know more about the topic today. So we have some great
Absolutely.
questions from them. So your first question says, how does AI personalize the learning experience for employees?
So, like I said, if suppose I am a L&D specialist and I have just started my career, so my personalized requirement to become a more advanced, or rather more mature L&D specialist would be, what I should learn, not the basics. I need to work on my content designing and advanced content designing. Right, I have to work on my training delivery. I have to understand what is my audience requirement, the psychological needs, the models which are used in industry to check the impact. Kirkpatrick model is a very old model, but I was very delighted to know there are other models also when I did my advanced HRM program. Right. So how do I know? It's my personalized requirement. But generally, what do we do? Acha, this is content creation program. I'll do it. Maybe after doing that program, I realize, oh my God, I just did it. I already knew 80% of things. Right. So based on your experience, based on your knowledge. Always try to analyze what you know, what more you want to know, and cater that same to your employees also. Meet your employees, try to understand. Whenever you have done the analysis, the dashboard is ready, try to check it out with your talent pool people by some meeting or something, or a generic approach, whatever strategy you want to. But learning journey should be a personalized and customized. Otherwise, it will not bring your employee score on a green side.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for answering that for us. And we have another interesting question. And what are
Yeah.
the key benefits of using AI in employee training programs?
I mean, there's so many benefits. Rather, it should be made compulsory. Imagine, I'll again use this word. I had spent a lot of my sweat and blood on making these training programs, wasting my time on doing research. Rather, I won't say wasting my time on research, wasting on time utilization or research was good, but making these boring PPTs, and analytics were not very easier. I have to make my own dashboard. Then probably I have to learn advanced Excel for it, or I should be good enough on data analysis, which was not my forte as an HR professional. We don't get a chance to do big data analysis. Rather, our data is very crisp and so these were a very basic operational challenges which we were facing as an L&D specialist, which would actually drain us and deprive us not to get onto the enhanced level in terms of our delivery. You know, you can focus more on the better things to show impact on your dashboard rather than
Mm,
putting all your energy on transactional things. Focus on
mm,
transformation. So AI, I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, if you sitting and doing 2 plus 1 on hand and you're doing it on calculator, you relate the difference. It's more
yeah,
easier, no?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for answering that. And your next question is, how does AI assist in identifying and addressing skill gaps within the workforce? Hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Ma'am, I think we lost you. Okay, we'll just wait for her to connect. I think some technical issue has happened. Let's wait for a few minutes for her to again come back.
Hello.
Yeah, we lost you in between. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible. I think there was some disturbance for a few
Yeah,
seconds.
I can't see your video. Yeah, now it is good. So we have, we lost you in between, so we just got stuck. So we have another interesting question from the audience, which says, how does AI assist in identifying and addressing skill gaps within the workforce?
Okay, so now this is very important question, and I appreciate the user who has entered this. Skills. So when we talk about, it's like the staff level, and one is for the blue collar, which we say, right? So skills are basically at the level which is below assistant manager, rather. It's not catering any kind of managerial skills, right?
Mm,
It's a very huge data, right? So you have to, for the data mapping, as I said, your job description, according to the job description, according to the role, your skill mapping should be done very well in the system. And then certainly you can bring the identification gap through the kind of assessments which can be introduced. I remember we used to do one thing in Belspun. We had all the skills map. Let's say my operator needs these A1, A2, A3 skills, right? I did an assessment and now the results are giving me a gap. So you have to design a proficiency scale. Let's say person is at 50%, he is basic. At 60%, he is proficient. At 70%, he is excellent. And
yeah.
so that proficiency scale needs to be designed and inbuilt in the system. Once this mapping is done, you just have to enter the score after assessment and it will give you. So now you have the collective data with you that my 60% employees are proficient. That dashboard looks very clear just by putting the data at play. So data part is to be very clear. You
Hmm.
have to be very sure on your job description, on the role requirement. Once that basic design is ready with you, you can plan your assessments, and the scores itself will give you the skill set gaps there in your system.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering that for us. And we have another, interesting question from the audience. So the question says, what role do AI-driven analytics play in measuring the effectiveness of learning programs?
Everything, 100%. See, you going to the people on paper and making them write 10 question and answers, and you just triggering that 10 question and answer on their system. They have their
Hmm.
time to fill it, let's say
Hmm.
5 minutes post assessment. But after 30 days, you are taking the feedback directly from the department. Technical training, it is a technical training.
Hmm.
How much error the person has reduced, right? What impact the person has brought. So you have to design that questionnaire, right? So AI in impact is very, this is what I'm discussing, is the level 3. Level 1 is the reaction, level 2 is the learning, and level 3 is the impact, right? So
Hmm.
you can work directly on level 3 impact, and level 4 is your direct financials, the ROI. So now you have skipped the first two levels with the help of AI, right? You can
Yeah.
directly design your forms. You just have to, once you collect the data, forms are filled. Now you can see, okay, now I have this. And the person was at uh, completing the targets at 70%. Now he's doing it 100%. Or maybe he was doing 5 out of 3 errors. Now the errors are being reduced. Now it is 1. You're
Hmm.
able to show the difference. The delta is very clear with the help of AI.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if all things we were doing, the exercise was completely manual. And
Hmm.
imagine the efforts if you have done the training for, let's say, 2000 out of 2000 for 500 people. Reaching 500 people, you need a very big team.
Hmm.
But with AI, you bought it for one time cost, and you can n number of time trigger the form. Just 5 minutes of hard work, and then you can keep on repeating. You just customize the form, same as what you
Hmm.
do it on Google Form.
Hmm.
So it's very, very smooth and flawless.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering that. And even the question is very interesting, and your answer was also very much
Yes, of course.
interesting. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And we have another question. And uh, due to the time, we have a very limited time. So we are
I
taking this
understand.
as the last question for this session. So the question says, how does AI support continuous learning within an organization?
Okay, so I have an interesting answer to it. How
Mm-hmm.
Netflix is helping people? It is an addiction.
Entertainment,
It is an
yeah.
addiction. Yeah. Entertainment at low cost,
Mm,
anywhere, anytime, right? So this
yeah.
anywhere, anytime formula works in the continuous learning. Now I have
Mm,
my training programs in a form of app in my mobile phone. I am traveling, or I
mm,
have a wait time at airport or at railway station or at bus stand, anywhere I'm traveling by road, right? What do I
mm,
do? The reminder has been triggered. Now, oh my
mm,
God, one of my program is pending. I'll complete it.
mm,
Or let me see what more programs I can do. I'm going for a presentation. Let me see if there's any better technical skills for communication or negotiation skills, or maybe for the critical thinking.
mm,
So this
mm,
kind of addiction
mm,
is given by these tools, and
mm,
it is like automated continuous learning.
mm.
It is very addictive.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering that for us. And we have completed our exciting and most interesting session of today's session, question and answer session. And as we wrap up, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible speaker, Sandeep Kaur, for sharing
My
her
pleasure.
expertise and valuable insights. Your knowledge and passion has provided us with a fresh perspective, and we are grateful for the wisdom you have shared, ma'am. Thank you so much. And
My
a
pleasure.
huge shout out to our amazing audience as well. Your energy, curiosity, and thought provoking questions made this session even more enriching. We hope you gained valuable takeaways and feel inspired to apply them in your journey. If you're interested for more webinars, training session, and all things knowledge, don't miss out. Reach out to us at Educationist. Stay connected and inspired by following us on all social media platforms. We are here to fuel your growth and support you every step of the way. Let's continue learning together. Stay connected, keep learning, and we look forward to seeing you at our future sessions. Until next time, take care and stay innovative. Bye bye.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining today.